Hey guys, welcome back to Scream Queen Stream. Y'all know me, I'm Jessica. Obviously, this is Miss Dani Inks, and hiding somewhere behind Dani Inks,
Keri,
being all
creepy.
Pennywise, it is Keri.
She's
And
so Pennywise.
You're gonna see Solomon popping up because that's just what that bitch does, because he likes to steal focus. Don't he, as I move the whole frame.
Keri's like,
Speaking of stealing focus. So I wanted to come on here and share our opinion of the movie Rottentail. So
Rottentail.
yeah,
It was so good.
Right, if you guys have been paying attention to this channel, you saw that we did a live stream quickly from the red carpet from Brian Skiba and Skiba Vision's newest film Rottentail, and it was super fun.
did?
We did. You're in it.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Yeah, we totally did.
Dani may have had some vodka in her purse.
A little bit. That being said, I wanted to come on here so we could give like our official thoughts in like a more proper format, shall we say? That's why Keri's in the background.
I love Keri's in the back just drinking.
But maybe you could just like pipe in if you're going to watch it, or if like you're remotely curious about it. So Rottentail is basically a movie directed by Brian Skiba, who is a very established indie director. And one of the things that I love about Brian's work is that he does movies that are completely off kilter, don't follow a format. It's nothing to do with what's trending. It's literally like the most random, interesting stories in the world. So every time I see a Brian movie, even if I don't like madly love it, I always feel like it's time well spent, because it's always something new and something different. And I love that. So he's not that director who's going to be like, hey, the Paranormal Activity just made $10 billion. I'm going to make a Paranormal Activity knockoff. That's not Brian's jam.
No,
he's more like, y'all are doing this thing. Here's what I feel strongly about making. Completely different, totally doesn't fit into the marketplace. Fuck it.
I feel like he's just an artist and he's true to.
But I love that. I love that.
What he is and what he wants to fucking do. Like, I want to do this. I'm going to fucking do it. I don't care what's popular. Like, but I even though, because what I didn't know, like going into this, she invited me to this thing. She always invites me to random screenings. And I, get really scared at horror movies. So I always
I think you'll like this one.
And you drag me whether you think you made me go see a Serbian film, bitch.
I did.
She did.
It's mandatory viewing.
Yeah, she made me see that. Enough
You
said.
were late.
Anyway, I was what?
You were late. Didn't you walk in right at the baby moment?
No, I was there the whole time.
Were you there the whole
I
time?
walked in late to Solomon because I had a prior engagement. I was in my own shit, whatever. But no, I was there the whole time. Her and my other friend, whatever. But I digress because that's something different. We're talking about Rottentail. So because this bitch made me go see a Serbian film and all these other crazy movies, and I'm like, not my jam. I was like, okay, I was prepared to be scared or whatever. And I went and I was pleasantly surprised when I found out it was based on a graphic novel, which I'm not exactly a comic book geek, but I love things that are based on comics, like films that are based on comics. So I was like, oh, this is fun. And then like the opening credits, I was like, yeah. So I was super excited.
So in short, the story follows Peter Corin, who's like this nerdy scientist who has a crush on like the girl that got away in high school, and he effectively gets bit by some kind of like radioactive rabbit, and it turns him into like a rabbit monster guy. Right. Yes. In short, is that like a fair?
Yeah, no, exactly. He's this nerdy, like he's like a pushover. Nobody likes him. He doesn't even. Not even on the radar. He doesn't like himself. He's just like, oh, this nerdy guy.
Yeah. And Dominique Swain plays like the girl that got away in today's world. Yeah. And then William Mcnamarra plays like the jock from high school who's now, which I love this performance.
An evangelist.
Like an evangelist sort of preacher guy. But like the
he's like a TV evangelist,
the shittiest version of
Jewish.
a TV evangelist. Awesome. But it's also hilarious.
Oh, he was so funny. And they did some in the credits. They did some of the outtakes.
That might be my favorite part of the whole movie.
Evangelist, like the evangelist guy, who he's just like doing like a commercial for his TV evangelism shit. And obviously they couldn't put everything in. And I think didn't Brian say that he improv a lot of it, and it was hysterical. Solomon, I love you. I love you.
This is my scene-stealing dog.
Yeah.
No, I thought
He's
some
like,
of
"I
his
wanna be
stuff was
star-"
like the funniest scenes in the entire world. And I also, let's talk about like what worked with the movie. One of the things that I really loved about Rottentail was that the film itself did not take itself too seriously.
No, it completely, like, kind of like Deadpool. Like,
Yeah.
Deadpool, like, was very, made fun of itself.
Yeah, tongue-in-cheek, we get it. It's funny.
I mean, he
it's
broke
ridiculous.
the fourth wall a bunch, but
Yeah.
no, not in Rottentail. Did they break the fourth wall at any point? I don't think they did.
Well, but they came really close, like, because at some points, like, there's
But they,
certainly
like,
some jokes that, like,
referenced
Rottentail
itself,
made
yeah.
almost towards the audience
Yeah.
that they were just sort of assuming were there, because, like, he's not talking to anybody else other than the audience, you know? Mm-hmm. So they didn't break it visually so much as they broke it audibly.
Yeah.
Audibly? I don't know how to say that. Either
Audibly.
way. Audibly. Thank you, Keri. See, look at that. Keri didn't get a chance to see
She's
it.
helping.
So she's just in the background, making sure our English is
Making
right.
sure we don't fuck shit
And in
up.
case we need, like, a serial killer reference.
It's true.
Also, I didn't see Peter Rottentail, but I have been touched by a person in a rabbit suit before, so...
Touched how?
Touched how? Inappropriately?
Just because they're wearing an Easter Bunny costume does not mean they're not a pervert.
Oh. Is this something we need to like stop the camera and have a discussion?
Do we
Are we in a
need a
mentally
therapy
good place?
session?
Oh, no, it was alright. I'm good with that.
Were you an
Okay.
adult when this happened?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Then it's fine.
Was it that awkward moment when we think that we might have a childhood trauma to
Oh, dear.
address
No.
on
This
Scream Queen
is
Street?
not my kind of confession.
Oh my god, so funny.
My dog is trying to tweet, by the way, with a rubber duck.
Yeah, he's
and that's
like-
also like YC. No, stop! You're making noise,
He chased it.
and he's just gonna bring
And
you
he's
back.
gonna make more noise. It's fine.
No, so I love that they didn't take themselves seriously.
Yeah.
I also loved Corin Nemec plays the lead, Peter Rottentail, who turns into Rottentail.
Yeah.
And I thought he was fucking great. And I loved how he performed the transition. I loved how he
there's-
shot it. Like there's, and again, like they don't take themselves seriously. So at one point, like, just spoilers. At one point, the him as like transitioning into a bunny, like shits himself as a bunny. So it's like all like
But it's the little like
bunny
pellets.
pellet.
Oh my god. So what something that I love as an actor, like I don't know if you love this, but I'm like a little bit more of a character actor, I guess you would say. I guess all actors are character actors. Anyway. So I really love like doing dual characters in one character. I love that.
No, I love that.
It's so much fun, and it's because
that
it's
was
so
part of the
different.
love in Mary and Song of Solomon.
And he went from being this like super meek, mild mannered dude that was too afraid. He was afraid of his own shadow. To this guy who's like, you
Raunchy,
know, he's
gross,
raunchy, and he's telling everybody to go
ridiculous.
fuck off and like, you know, suck my dick and all that shit. And it was so great. Excuse me, Solomon. Fucking dogs. I can say that because I'm a dog owner. It's fine. I'm a dog mom, so I can say fucking dogs. It's fine. I love you. Here, go get it. Yay! He went to go get it. But I loved his transition, and sometimes it doesn't always work. And I've seen it in so many things that I've done. I've done stage and I've done film, but you know, this one particular time, this girl, she was great at like being the sweet, like meek girl, but when it came to being like the strong woman that she was supposed to like turn into, it just fell super flat. And it's a bummer when that happens, but this guy, man, he really nailed it. What was his name again?
Corin Nemec.
Corin. You know him. I met him, but I don't know him.
Oh yeah, I've known him on social media for forever.
Yeah.
He's done a ton of movies.
Yeah.
A really well established
Well,
actor.
he's really fantastic, and I don't remember seeing him and stuff, but I know, like when I watched it, I was like, I know that guy. Who's that guy? I know that guy. I know who that guy is. And then
Same with like William, like the evangelist character.
the evangelist character.
I was like, oh my god, I know.
I
But
know
also,
that guy.
side note, loved all of that performance.
Yeah.
I thought it was really, really great. Really, really, really great. I really loved a lot of this movie. So, what did not work?
Them's fighting words. Well, the thing is, I don't think, to me, nothing didn't work just because the stuff that was, the things that might have been their weak points, I feel like they made fun of it enough.
Agreed. I was gonna say, like, I felt like the evangelist's wife was a horrible actress, but because he was such an over the top.
I don't think she was
actor,
horrible, but it's really
it kind of almost worked that she was because it kind of I feel like the bad acting almost worked in terms of like her being like a shitty I don't care about you but I'm here for the money kind of person.
I don't think her acting was bad. I think it just was odd next to his that was so over the top. You know what I mean? I thought it was just kind of a little like odd, but it like you said, it worked because I mean it made him look even more over the top because his wife wasn't. But yeah,
I definitely felt it was really raunchy, which I think might turn some
raunchy as fuck, and I loved it.
I thought it was to me like it skirted a really fine line where I was like, if they crossed that line to be a little bit more raunchy, it might not have worked.
Yes.
But it was like really at like the height of raunchiness. So side note, if you don't like raunchy movies, probably not a movie for you.
It was
like a lot of dick jokes.
It was like Deadpool, but raunchier. Like, and it was really inappropriate. And
but also,
if you're easily offended, don't watch this movie. But if you're easily offended, why are you watching this too?
But side note, if you're a 13-year-old boy, this is probably the greatest movie ever made. Like, that's what I kept thinking. I was like, oh my God, like, teen Jessica would have watched this a billion times.
Because you were a 13-year-old boy?
Pretty much.
All right. Good to know.
Yeah, I was.
I feel like you still are a 13-year-old boy.
Right? But, like, it would have been like that movie on VHS. So you just, like, replayed and replayed and replayed.
I really, after I watched it, I had so many friends who I was like, oh my God, they would love this. And I want to, like, I can't wait for it to come out on DVD because I want to get it and I want to show it all to all of my friends.
Now. I'm going to link it down below.
Is it?
In the description box.
Okay, I need to get it because I have so many of my friends who would fucking pee their pants.
It's like ridiculous and so well done. Like the shots are really well done. Mm-hmm. Like they really did choose some hilarious shots.
There was a lot of gore in it too, and the gore was done really well too. I thought like because it could have went really cheesy with the gore, and it still would have been okay because it, like I said, it was kind of like it was a farce. It was kind of a parody of itself. Parody. So if the gore was a little over the top, like cheesy and not quite realistic, it would have been fine.
It was great.
But I thought the gore was really realistic as well.
And I loved when he put on like the classic bunny suit.
So yeah, he's like a mutant bunny, and then he like
dresses up as like because he goes to this Easter event. It was an Easter church event, BT Dub, and he was on the, you know, you go to the mall and there's an Easter bunny person in an Easter bunny suit. Hopefully there's no children watching this. Easter bunny is real, kids. Easter bunny is real. She's lying, it's not.
But he put on this bunny suit and he was so funny.
Oh, the other thing that I could have done a little less of was like the penis guy. Which if you watch this, if you watch the movie, you'll understand this. The hard penis guy.
Oh my God.
I thought they overplayed that. See, and you just loved it. To me, I was like, you could have dialed back on that a little bit.
The lead guy who was like the general guy of the army.
Not the lead villain.
No, the lead villain. Well, but he was like the lead guy of the army. He was like the general guy.
Yeah.
He takes over because he works, the lead guy, works in, the nerdy guy, works in a lab. And he's like a doctor, kind of like lab scientist guy. And he gets bit. But he's actually, before he gets bit, is developing a fertility drug kind of thing. And it's supposed to be kind of like almost like a Viagra kind of thing. Yeah, so the general guy steals the stuff that the lead nerdy guy is working on. It's like a Viagra kind of thing. So he takes it. He doesn't even steal it. He's just like, the U.S. military, I'm taking this. I'm confiscating this. And then he uses it to go fuck his wife. But then, like, which is hysterical. You would love this. Keri, you would love this fucking movie.
It's very appropriate for a rabbit-based movie.
Yeah.
Right? So funny.
It is odd when you think about it like that. I wasn't thinking about it like
that.
No,
I totally got that.
See, I did not.
Because rabbits just, and then that was
when he ties up his wife to the bed, and then of course Rottentail.
He ties his wife to the bed with a gag in her mouth, and then like he has to leave because he gets a call that all this shit's going down in the laboratory. And he shows up in his like military sweats that say army or whatever, and but when he shows up, he's like, it's after he took the potion, and he's like hard on. He's like pitching a tent, and like it's like it shows him like coming in, and then it shows his crotch, and it's like, and you know he's a big black dude, so they went stereotypical, you know. I mean.
Also, like, okay, so there's this funny scene where like these stoners are smoking up in the back of like a van, and then they do that fun thing where they like pass it and they pass it to the rabbit.
Yeah, well they pass it and they're like, dude, did you hear? Like, it was the one guy in the lab. Excuse you. The one guy in the lab who got away, who didn't die, was like getting high as fuck, telling his friends like, dude, there's this fucking rabbit. Oh my god, it's a mutant. What the fuck? All, and they're smoking, and it passes to another dude, and they're like, what the fuck? That's crazy. And it passes to another dude, and they're like, what? And then it passes to the rabbit, and he's like, that's fucked up, man. And it's the rabbit.
So questions, comments, concerns. The one thing, not a question, more of a comment. Just, it was an interesting choice to choose to have Dominique Swain stuck in the 80s. So granted,
the whole thing was in the 80s.
No, like they went to high school in the 80s. So where like the evangelist.
No, but I thought they went to high school in the 60s.
No. It was the 80s. And then like she was still stuck in the 80s. So like the movie took place in present day, but like that character just never progressed past the 80s.
I thought the whole thing took place in the 80s. No,
because think about it, not a single other character was 80s.
They all looked 80s to me.
No. Corin was just in like a normal clothing.
This sounds like my life.
Right. She was the only one that was like stuck in the 80s. She was the only, like, with the king's hair and everything, and like if you like, she looked like I don't know if they were just.
I'm gonna have to go back because I thought for sure everybody else was in the 80s as well.
No, it was just like in high school when they were in the 80s.
Oh, we should. You sure? Did you talk?
I did not. I've
not
talked to
Brian. I think I'm right then. If you don't know, like inside, I think I'm right. I think everything.
But also because remember
they just didn't do it.
No, remember the scene though. Like whenever they're at the science fair, they're clearly all dressed like the 80s. They're not in the 60s. Nobody's wearing hoop skirts. Nobody's wearing.
No, that would be the 50s.
Sorry, but nobody's wearing like long skirts or anything. They're all like.
I think it was
like side ponytails. Yeah.
Oh. I don't know. All right, cool. All right, we didn't talk about this before. I'm interested to see what it is. Now we have to like. And we should make a bet.
Jogging suit, the jogging suit, like army jogging suit that he's like. All that is current day.
Well, yeah, but that just could be like.
No, because the 80s were like MC Hammer.
No, I understand that, but it could just be like really bad wardrobe choices. That's what I thought it was.
No, I thought it was that they were back in the 80s, and then like again, she just never progressed out.
Yeah, but the cell phones were the big. There wasn't a real cell phone in it. Think about it.
Oh, true.
I win. No, I don't win. But seriously, we need to look into this and see who's.
But I will say, like, none of that took away from the plot in any capacity. If we're talking about it now. I didn't put a lot of thought into that. I was just like, okay, she hasn't grown past the 80s. I get it.
No, but I think she was just the most obvious. But I think none of them did.
She was very obvious. She had like the king's hair and like the wardrobe. But I actually thought that worked really well because Dominique Swain almost like goes kind of like. To me, Dominique Swain is a very strange actress in like today's world. As a grown-up, as a child, I thought she was universally appealing. As a grown-up, she to me always feels odd, and I don't mean that to be a bad thing. Just I mean
odd and like
her character. She's always the odd girl. She's not like the stereotypical pretty girl. She's not the stereotypical lead. She's always an odd or weird.
That's my real life.
Actually.
I mean, I went to church in the 90s, but still, like when I was little, I grew up in the church because my mom was super religious, so like all of the church clothes seemed really dated to me. But it also could have been, if it did take place now, it could have just been because it was Midwest.
True.
You know, so it could go either way. I'm interested, but I'm pretty sure it was in the main today was in the 80s, like the future, because they did have flashbacks to like when the bully. So the only thing I didn't like about it. Let's talk about this right now. Which I understand this was like really important to the plot. The bully took the little nerdy kids when he was a little kid, took his best friend, which was a little bunny, and he took him and he snapped his neck. And that was really sad. And I I was real upset about that.
Yeah, that was a hard thing to watch.
Animal cruelty. So that was really hard for me to watch. But that's just like a preference thing. Obviously they didn't kill a real bunny. So the bunny's alive and the bunny is I'm sure it's still amazing, but yeah, it bummed me out. I don't like when animals die in movies, which is why I haven't seen a lot of movies that I know the animals die. I won't watch that shit. No.
So would you recommend this movie to others?
I said that already. I was like, dude, I have so many people who I'm like, this is dirty, there's gore,
I wanted to make
it's
it clear.
raunchy as fuck. They say dick and fart jokes and poop jokes, and they're like
all the time.
Like all of my really juvenile, inappropriate, fucked up friends, which I have a lot of. I'm just like, oh my God, well, you need to see this movie. I can't watch it. This bitch, right here, this bitch. Like, she would love this movie because it is the most inappropriate, ridiculously raunchy, fucked up movie.
I also, like, I recommend it. I warn people, though, in advance. I'm like, it's really raunchy, and it doesn't take itself seriously. So if you're looking for, like, a serious movie, not your film. This is, like, a B movie that celebrates and loves being a B movie.
I mean, it's
really has a lot of fun with itself and doesn't take itself seriously.
It's kind of a comic book movie, but it's not DC.
Right. Well, also, like, side note, I don't know how you, like, I'm so happy they went this route because I don't think you could do this without a huge budget, like, seriously. Right? Like, I think you have to make fun of it. You have to be in on the
thing
joke.
Is, I don't think the original graphic novel was a serious one either. Like The Walking Dead was a graphic novel. Excuse you, butt in my face. Thank you. The Walking Dead was a graphic novel, and it was actually a serious one. But there are a lot of graphic novels that were like, he just wants me to scratch his butt. He's right here getting his butt scratched at the moment. There are a lot of graphic novels that are just like regular comic books. Comic books were called that because they're comical. You know, because they're supposed to be kind of funny, and this one was, and it made fun of itself, and I really liked it, and I think they kept true. I've never read the original graphic novel. Sorry, I will if you send it to us, and I'll read it. I promise. But I've never read it. But that being said, I'm pretty sure I would bet money that they kept true to the original feel of it, because I don't think it was meant to be. I mean, it's a fucking...
term is canon.
Canon? What?
Keeping to canon.
Canon. They kept to canon. Like pirates and shit.
Like she knows what she's talking about.
Like pirates and shit. Yep, canon. Yeah.
I agree. I highly recommend it. I just like give the caveat that like you have to be in for a raunchy, fun B movie.
If you're easily offended, don't fucking watch it.
No.
But honestly, don't fucking watch it.
If like you'd be offended by like dick jokes and fart jokes, like it's not your movie, which is cool. No. But that being said, I think some of the effects are amazing. I think Corin is spectacular in this film. I think
he's so good.
Mcnamarra is brilliant, and I really
all
love
the acting. I thought all the acting was great.
Well, I also like again. I love Brian for doing his own thing constantly, consistently. Like he's always that filmmaker. Yeah. When I get invited to a screening, I'm like, I'm gonna go, even if I don't like it. Goes. I think there's merit in what he's trying to share and tell the world. It's so different than what everybody else is doing all the time.
Well, you know, let's face it. You've invited me to a lot of things with you. I'm her date because, you know,
a lot.
I'm super fun and I bring alcohol in my purse, but also because I have no life and I'm available. But no, I'm like Heather Dorff. I have no life and I make myself available. Bitch has a life. But yeah, so she takes me to a lot of these things. A lot of them I'm like, you know, good for them for making a movie and they're good points, but I'm just like, oh, this again. And then when she said it was called Rottentail and it was around Easter time, it was like, what, a week and a half before Easter? Yeah. And I was like, rot, really? And so I watched it, or I was about to watch it, and I was like, oh, God. The tagline was, what was it?
Hippity hoppity homicide.
Hippity hoppity homicide. I'm like, oh, my God, this thing's going to be shit.
No, I love that tagline. I think that's brilliant.
I think it's amazing.
Brilliant.
It's brilliant knowing that it's a farce, and it's funny, it's a comedy, and it makes fun of itself. It's fucking brilliant. But before that, she's taken me to some fucked up shit. So I was just like, oh, God, not again.
But I also love that hippity hoppity homicide, yes. Starring Corin, yes.
It was perfect. I actually went to work the next day telling everybody, I'm like, okay, so there was this thing, it was called Hippity Hoppity Homicide. Amazing. I told my manager, it's
actually called Rottentail for those of you watching.
Rottentail.
But carry on.
But
You told her
So
manager.
I was telling my acting manager. She called me and she's like, "What are you doing?" And we touched base, and I was like, "Oh, I'm going to a movie premiere." And she's like, "Ooh, nice, red carpet, yeah, it's cool." And I told her about it, and she's like, and I said the tagline is "Hippity Hoppity Homicide," and she lost her mind. She was like, "Oh my god, that's great."
Yeah, it's fucking
She's
great.
like, "That's awesome," and I was like, "I don't know," and so I went to see it, and I was pleasantly surprised. Well, when she told me it was Brian, I was like, oh, okay, all right. I have a little higher hopes, but this bitch takes me a lot of weird shit. So, you know.
That being said, I'm going to put the link
great.
down in the description box
It
below
was
so
really
that you
good,
guys
guys.
can check it out. I really enjoyed
Fucking
it. I thought it was
watch
super
it.
fucking
I
fun.
can't wait to get it, and I'm going to show everybody because I was so
This is how Dani would do horror.
excited about it because I don't mind gore. I just don't always like horror because I'm easily
But you want
scared.
it to be well done.
I want it to be well done, but like I said, I wouldn't have even been mad if the gore was cheesy and obviously fake because of the way the movie was done. But it wasn't. It was like legit effects too,
really
and I was
fun.
like, oh, okay. So even my effects people, I would be like, watch this. This is fucking great. Like, it was really
excited
good.
about this movie.
Dude, I wish we had it so you can watch it right now. Call Brian. Tell him to send it to us.
I'll see what I can do.
Call Brian. We need to see this again. I need to see it again. This bitch needs to see it.
I am trying to get him to do like an interview because I do think he's such a prolific independent filmmaker
God,
on the
and
scene.
he's such a sweetheart. And I've met him
Yeah, he's
before,
really nice.
but I got to like kind of like talk to him a little bit. And he's so nice. And he's just like a cool person because, you know.
He also has like a ridiculously hot wife.
Oh my God, she's so hot.
Like
She's so
I mean,
hot.
like I'm like, you're incredibly talented and
I
skilled,
love her,
But can
and
we
she's
just
hot.
talk about your wife who's like adorable, super nice, overly friendly, not like she's not one of those like there's women in Hollywood that are very much like actress.
Oh my
I
God,
see you coming
especially
a
when they're
mile
the
away.
wives. When they're the
She's not like that. She's like, fuck it. I
when
know
they're
I'm
the wives of
gorgeous.
directors and
I'm like,
they're
yeah,
hot,
you're
they're like,
like nobody
yeah,
can compare
no,
to you.
she's
I
so
get
nice.
it. It's
Oh
cool,
my
but
God.
she's adorable.
And Brian's so nice, and like
He is.
I was really glad that he's so nice because when I really like something and then I meet the producer or director or, you know, filmmaker and they're an asshole, I'm like, oh, I'm really mad that I liked your shit.
Agreed. But also, we're going to wrap that up here. Links in the
He's great.
description box down below.
This
Also,
movie's fucking great.
it's fucking great. Check it out. And
So
if you
funny.
like us, if you like this video, don't forget to like button down below and also subscribe. We
Like
produce
it.
new videos, not
Like
always
it.
in the hot tub,
Like it.
every week. And 10 billion
Like it.
bonus points if you join the Patreon. Bye!
Patreon.